Unfinished business.
Unfinished.
Oh, I know. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right, I was gonna be like,
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you.
I was a little concerned also.
Glad I asked.
Any additional, Commissioner Anderson?
How many days is this for a holiday? Even at 5418 seems like a lot because
Well-
it's not just one day, correct?
No, correct. It's between the Christmas and New Year holidays. And so it's probably 3 holiday pays. And then it includes health insurance, retirement, and all those roll-up costs.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So at this time, I ask for a motion to pass for today, this item. Support. Been moved and supported. Please vote. Okay. The counts.
I just want to clarify, that's with the understanding that the item will be returned to the department and then resubmitted to the commission for fixing between before the next committee.
Okay, did everyone get that?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
saying
sir.
that because I'm the members, y'all understand that? Okay, okay.
We just want to make it clear that we're going to send it back
We're sending it back to the
to the
department.
department. So we theoretically won't have it for a period of time until
Till
they
they fix
fix
it.
it and resubmit it. So we just wanted to make that clear.
Right, well, maybe before, maybe after, whenever HR brings it back or administration. Okay, all those, so did you vote?
Voting now.
Okay, thank you. Chair votes yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reagan. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Bobby.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda.
We're now moving to new business item 1, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment
I
2024.
remember
I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry, we
I'm
made a change to the agenda.
We are going to move to item number 6, discussion with the Sheriff's Office Director of Training and Director of Recruiting regarding the budgetary concerns of current operations and future needs.
So who's here to speak to this from the Sheriff's Department? Please come up front to the table. One. Don't want to sit there. Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming. And please introduce yourself and your title with the department.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Kevin O'Rourke. I'm the training coordinator for the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. I'm also a captain.
Yes, it is afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Diaz. I'm the director of the recruiting unit for the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, as well as director for the background investigations unit.
Good afternoon, Vanita Terry, Director of Administration for the Sheriff's Office.
Good afternoon, Robert Dunlap, Chief of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, Jails and Courts, and the training unit falls under.
Great. Okay. So as you know, we've had a lot of discussions as it relates to recruiting and training. And so this is the committee that deals with preparation of the budget. As we're going into that, wanted to reach out to you all and to just get a sense of priorities, financial priorities associated with training and recruiting, because, the commission's been getting the emails and all sorts of things. So I wanted to get ahead of the conversation and just get a sense of where you all standing and how you're anticipating and, projecting and expanding or whatever resources you're looking at in addressing some of those concerns that this commission has been, I guess folks have been contacting us about.
Where would you like to start?
So if I may, I do want to start out by saying, on behalf of Sheriff Washington, we're very, very grateful for County Executive Evans and his staff, as well as the commission, for the support that we received thus far with regards to all of our budgetary needs. And so this is really a process of really trying to better align our budget with our needs. I'm sure it's no surprise to the commission that we're very short all across the agency. And even absent the shortages, for a long time, the sheriff's office has not had a shift relief factor built into its staffing. And so what that does is it exacerbates the shortages. And because of that, it leaves no personnel within to go out and do recruiting absent Director Diaz, and certainly no personnel to do the training. The majority of the personnel assigned to the training unit right now, with the exception of Captain O'Rourke and one other deputy, are people that we're constantly pulling from the jails on a day-to-day basis to get the individuals trained once we're able to recruit and get them into the agency. I just left the jails just 5 minutes ago, where we took a bunch of student interns through that are doing an internship under the executive's office. And I'm sad to tell you that I have commanders right now working the floors opposed to running the administration, trying to keep up with the shortages. And so why is that important? It is important because if we continue to pull from the jails people to go out and train, and if we ever get lucky to go out and assist with recruiting, it only exacerbates the shortages, and we know those shortages exacerbates the safe operations of the jail.
Yes.
And
You know,
so,
So I'm saying, just to piggyback on that, the sheriff and the undersheriff has been in touch with myself as well as Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman. And we just want to have this conversation early, just to let you know that, one, we're standing in support of trying to fill in those gaps where you need resources. So we just want to have a conversation of what those resources look like. Just having an early conversation as you're finalizing the budget that will be making its way to us with the administration. Yeah.
so we'll let Director Diaz tell you a little more about what we're doing to try to, ramp up our recruiting efforts. One, I'll just point out, we are far lacking in terms of comparison to other agencies our size with regards to staff to both recruit and train. So if I may, through the chair, turn it
Absolutely,
over
yes.
to Director Diaz.
Thank you, Chief. So as Chief Dunlop has indicated, there has certainly been it's no secret, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office is certainly experiencing in my opinion, a crisis with regards to our staffing levels. And it's nothing, I hate to be glib about this, but it's nothing that's new. It didn't just happen last night. We've been looking at this issue for, unfortunately, a lot longer than we've actually realized. To that point, in creating an approach where we are, with respect to our recruiting efforts, we're not just recruiting against, if you will, other law enforcement agencies in this day and age. We're actually in a situation where we're attempting to hire people where the job market is pretty demanding of new hires. So that in and of itself creates its own issues. However, we have been very creative with the guidance and direction of Sheriff Washington. We have engaged in a very, how do I say this, out of the box way of thinking and approach to our recruiting efforts. So I can sit here and speak to that all day long, but I'm just going to cut right to the chase and just let you know where we currently are. We have, as we speak, we have 3 recruiters on the Wayne County Sheriff's Office recruiting team. We are in the process of bringing on more recruiters. With regards to our changes and our out-of-the-box thinking and our approach to recruiting efforts, we've become a victim of our own success. And I'll explain what I'm getting at with that. So we modified our application process that now our applications, when a person fills out the application to become a Wayne County Sheriff's Deputy, that application includes all of the background data that we need to send that applicant to the background investigation phase. where last year, just for the sake of perspective, last year we received over 1,100 applications to be a Wayne County Sheriff's Deputy. Of that 1,100, we only hired 57. And it wasn't because they were bad applicants. I might be speaking out of turn when I say this, but it appears that they weren't genuine applicants. By that, the QR code application that the Sheriff's Office created was a huge success, but we were getting a lot of people who were applying for whatever reason. They just weren't, they didn't really want to be here. So when the application comes to the Sheriff's Office, we get it, we look at it, make sure they meet the qualifications, and then it's sent to PHR. PHR back then would send the applicant a list of documents that they had to fill out to send them to the background investigations phase. We lost 68% of our applicants when it left my desk and went to PHR. And when it got down to PHR, we never heard from 68% of them again. So now we're collecting all of that background data on the front end. So what that's resulted in, and we started this on March 22nd, and this is a great story. What it resulted in was we got fewer applications, but now we're getting quality applications. So we're now getting quality over quantity. And when I say we're a victim of our own success, we currently have a significant number of applicants that are in our background investigation phase, and that will slow the process. So we're also looking to hire and bring on more background investigators. We're in a good position. We need to be in a better position, which is that's where the need for more recruiters and more background investigators to help expedite this process. We're trending in the right direction.
So with that, with the successes there, how does that tie into training and both the personnel associated with training? Because like the Deputy Chief just mentioned that you still have limited staffing there. How are you trying to address that? And so, sir,
Captain O'Rourke.
Captain O'Rourke, yes.
Yep. Thank you. So it's extremely hard to address, but we're doing the best job we can. We currently have, I don't know, do you know how many officers we have with the agency? Just throwing it out there. 495 officers that are full-time, not all sworn, but you could see that's a lot to handle. It's just me and my partner, Corporal Parker, and he's a phenomenal officer. I mean, without him, I wouldn't be able to succeed in what I'm doing. Corporal Pierce is actually, he's another one of my employees. He's a huge help, but unfortunately, he's very busy with the gun range, and he's always at the range, and he works his butt off too. So you could see, I feel like the training is lacking, and in a leadership position, it's a little bit different because mine comes out of the care and love of the officers. You know what I'm saying? So it's different where I'm at because I have to get them ready to go in the jail. I have to make sure they meet the requirements for everything, and I have to make sure we keep up with mandated training. As you probably know, sir, there's 24 hours of county accountability when it comes to credits they need to have every year with hours of training. The state mandates 20 hours. We always keep my officers within that. So I don't know how we do it, but we end up getting it done. But I mean, I overwork people. I really do. I overwork Parker like there's no tomorrow, and I just would like to get some help if possible.
Okay, so
So through the chair, if I may, and as the captain's saying, they all do a great job because, it's no surprise to you all that all of our staff are working very, very hard. But more direct to what you asked, if you compare us to, say, the Detroit Police Department and the Wayne County Sheriffs have for a long time, at least my 37, 38 years in law enforcement, been the two major recruiters in Southeast Michigan. And to compare us to Detroit, I believe Director Diaz last counted, they had over 30 different recruiters assigned. They have 50 people
50 on the
assigned to
recruiting team.
recruit. Now, we're not asking for 50, of course. And they're able to put roughly 35, 40 in a class every 2 or 3 months. And so we are far behind in comparison to where this agency used to be, where when I started in, say, in 1986, the Detroit Police Department, the Wayne County Sheriff was also recruiting just as many, an average of 30, 45 per class. To the training issue, you say, what would the impact be? I think one of the things that Captain O'Rourke probably should point out is how he has been innovative, and we currently now have 2 classes running concurrently. We started a class that is scheduled to graduate this Friday with 14, and we saw that we were losing people who were interested where they were waiting 6 or 7 weeks for a new class to start. And so we have a new process now where even though this 14 is graduating Friday, there's another 10 behind them. That's about 3 weeks behind. And so we now have a new process where we're using pretty much his same overworked staff, as he indicated. We have what we call a roll-in entry now, meaning that once these classes are finished, if we start a new 35, say on August 1, if we have another 10 ready to go, August 15th, we'll start another class. And that, we believe, will also help us with retention as well, because oftentimes, if I'm waiting and we have Detroit on the other side, where am I going to go? The one that gets me in the class first. And so that's how we're trying to manage, but that's very difficult running 2 classes concurrently with the same amount of staff. And that's why it's critically important that not only we add additional people to the training unit, but hopefully we get in our general fund budget a sustained line item to add more permanent staff to the training unit.
So also, as you're making you're laying that out, just a question. So how will, with what you're explaining, how will staffing be impacted after we open up the CJC? How will that happen? And will that add to the urgency of what's being talked about this morning?
Well, we can't open the CJC fast enough, but I will say this. We do believe that it will incentivize people to want to work here. I'm sure all of you have gone there, and you can see the difference between the CJC and our current facilities.
We're waiting for Anderson to set up that next tour, right?
Okay.
Don't start.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Everybody wants to work in a new office. But, directly to the impact on staffing, number one, it's going to start impacting our staffing immediately, even in the current situation. Because remember, the staff that we're using to help get people trained is the same staff that is required to man a floor in the jail. And so if, we're able to get a budget increase and bring on additional staff, that's a few less people that we have to pull from the already short jail. And so the impact will be realized immediately and obviously carry over to the new jail.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask any committee members, do you have questions? Commissioner Marecki, and then we have Commissioner Anderson, then Commissioner McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know how long ago we approved raises for the deputies. When we did that, was there any talk about the shift differentiation, or is it still going to be, you still don't have any kind of shift differentiation with monies?
So shift differentiation and shift relief is 2 different things.
Mhm.
The shift differentiation obviously is a premium that is paid for people that work the midnight shift, afternoon shift.
Right.
The shift relief factor that I referred to says basically for a 7-day operation, if I have 10 positions that have to be staffed every day for 7 days, I need more than 10 people, right? Because when you consider vacation and leave days, you have to have people to cover when those 10 are off. And so the standard in industry right now is roughly, you multiply that 10 times 1.75, and that tells you how many people total you need to man those positions 7 days a week. And so that's what hasn't been built in for some time. But again, thanks be to the county executive, Evans, and the deputy, Assad Turfy, and the team. We're working very, very aggressively together to make sure that as we move towards a new jail, our staffing numbers have a shift relief factor built in so that we don't continue on this course. Whereas if we don't have it, then we have structurally built in overtime without a shift relief factor.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. The other thing is, I know you guys have tremendous numbers of people on Family Leave Act all the time. So is that more of a federal fix? If anything was going to be fixed, would that have to be done at the federal level? Or, I mean, it sounds like it's out of our hands.
And unfortunately, yes, the answer is yes. And we work, very closely with county HR on that. It's very, very challenging. I believe, she stepped away. Director Terry and her team keep the numbers. But the last I checked, roughly 67% of the employees in our agency have family medical leave. And, to their defense, I believe some of them have exercised that option for their own health as well as the health of their family. Because of our shortages, they're working pretty much around the clock. And they will insert, family medical leave to get that mental health break. And while we're respectful of that, we do hope that there are some more alternatives opposed to just using family medical leave. But to answer your question directly, that's something that has to be decided at the federal level.
Because I know when that first started years ago, people would take it like, for example, extended maternity leave, but now you can do this on a day-to-day basis, right?
You're absolutely right.
Just
In
say I
fact,
want family
we
medical
have
leave.
command level people that are also exercising family medical leave. And I can tell you, probably 75, 80% of the people at work right now are working a second shift. And I can't praise them enough for the level of professionalism that I saw that they displayed to these young college interns that we just took through. Very, very exhausted, but were very, very positive and did just an excellent job. And so family medical leave is a huge challenge. And I do believe roughly is something even above all of us. We need some help from the federal level.
No, so the family leave, I know, we touched on it, but that's not what we're on. But if it wasn't for the Family Leave Act and officers who have responded to the request for overtime, and, in the various roles within law enforcement, we don't know what type of impact it would have on them. And so, let's just continue to try to fill out these vacant positions. Let's try to lessen the stress that's on these officers because of the mandatory overtime, both at local level, but also with the sheriff's department as well. So I think the problem is not necessarily with the Family Leave Act. It's with the assignment and the workload that is placed on these folks, because I just hear a number of different stories. So I just want to commend you all for what you all are doing on behalf of all of us. And so I'll go to Commissioner Anderson and then Commissioner McCormick.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say hello to Mark. From my time in the legislature, I know he was up there quite a bit, pleading for Detroit Police Department. But I wanted to ask, what is the actual number that we're short right now of positions in the department?
Well, we know that we're
This probably doesn't. Doesn't include.
We're more than say 300 short with the shortages and the upcoming scheduled retirements and transitions. So
Right. And I wanted to ask too, do you attribute that to, besides the overtime, other things that are, I know we made the adjustments in how much money that had to pay or were able to pay. But is it still a problem with recruiting? I know you mentioned about the recruiting, but are we doing recruiting efforts all across the county?
So, Commissioner, I can tell you that this issue is not just germane to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office.
Mhm.
I'm a part of the National Institute of Correction, where twice a year we assemble the 50 largest jails in the country, the jail administrators and sheriffs and undersheriffs, and the sheriff and undersheriff attends the major county sheriffs meetings twice a year. And this is probably the number one topic, both for sheriffs as well as police chiefs. And I think it's just kind of the trend and change in law enforcement as well. It's not solely on the work. There's only one jail in the last 5 years, one agency that I heard say that they don't have this problem, and that's Boca Raton, Florida. Now, how many of us would want to live in Boca Raton, right? And so I think it's a combination of things. Certainly, the pay raises help, but the challenges associated with recruiting, number one, as you heard Director Diaz say, we don't have the same level of recruiting staff that other agencies our size have. Number two, we don't have the level of training staff that other agencies our size have, which I think is part of why we're at this table. One, to say that because we do know that you have done and will continue to do everything that you can to help us right-size that. But in right-sizing that, the other challenges are associated with just the changes in law enforcement.
You touched on the CJC and when that's fully operational, and you're not in there completely yet, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and that it's going to affect the number of officers that are needed in the jail. So what do you anticipate the change is going to be? The number of officers that have to be employed to fully staff what you need in the jail?
So we're still validating that number, but I can tell you this. Obviously, we're consolidating 3 facilities into one. And at, say, Jail Division 2, I just left. In order to operate one housing unit at Jail Division 2, it takes 3 officers, 2 aside, 2 and a rover. And so that's a total of 5 a floor. In the new jail, we can operate a housing unit with 1 officer and 1 utility rover. Obviously, the higher security levels like Division 2, we would still put 2 officers and a utility rover. But also the uniqueness of the new jail is we can subdivide each housing unit in various areas in groups of 8, where we can't do that in the other jails. And so that would ease the impact of management and the strain on staff. And so while we'll see a slight reduction in staff, I think it's still a positive step in the right direction.
And hopefully that'll free up some folks for training and
Yes.
and the term rover, is that someone?
Yeah, so that's an extra
checking?
support person. I apologize. When I say rover, you have 1 officer that's assigned to watch, and when an officer needs a break, they have a utility support person that we call either utility or rover that'll come in and give them a break. And, or that person will conduct rounds while that one person manned the duty station.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner McCormick, and then Commissioner Baydun. Do any other commissioners have any comments or questions? Okay, then that will be it. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Commissioner Anderson asked some of the questions that I had. So to clarify, in the new jail, will we still look at the 300 number you just talked about as far as needing an additional 300 staff members?
So probably yes, because the number is pretty much based on right now what our staffing, our population is. Our population, I didn't look at it today, but yesterday we were at 1,294 people in the jail, which is ticking up. We've been averaging roughly 1,230 over the past couple of months, but it's warm outside, and that's with an additional 1,030 on electronic monitoring. Hopefully, when we get to the new jail, we won't go above, say, 1,500, although there's 2,280 beds over there. It is our hope that we don't go above 1,500 or 1,600 to keep it more manageable. And that 300 roughly, and this, just kind of off the top of my head,
Right.
would give us a sufficient amount of staff to better effectively manage and operate that population. Now, if we tick up, certainly it'll probably be higher, but we're still in the process as we go of validating those numbers.
Okay. And so since we increased the pay rate, how many officers have we hired?
I'm gonna defer to Director Diaz on those numbers.
So the collective bargaining agreement, if memory serves, the current collective bargaining agreement, I believe it went into effect in October. Yeah. So we had one last class at the end of.
Well,
I believe it was 74.
Total? Okay.
That
helps.
we
Thank you.
hired since, okay. And then how many have we lost? If you know, I don't know.
That's approximately 73 and that
Mhm.
is.
So we lost 70?
So on
Yes.
my public safety, I do a spreadsheet to give what we
Mhm.
bring in and what we lose to net
Right.
it out approximately.
So,
Not out of those 74 though,
Right.
just overall officers, we've
Overall,
lost 73.
right, but we brought in 70, around
So you
70.
stay the same.
So we're basically back
one.
to square one.
The attrition,
Interesting.
and that's the thing. So we're
Yeah.
trying to, get ahead of our attrition rate with
Right.
retirements. So-
Right. That's interesting. Okay. The recruiting staff and training staff, where are you currently in numbers? Is it just you said just how many?
Well, like the chief said, it's me and Corporal Parker.
Right.
I also have a range master I'm in charge of, but he, I'm a supervisor. He
Okay.
works at the range all the time, so he's not able to teach as much as he used to in the past because we're currently running on 5-day operations that comes to qualifications and things of that nature. So he's got more work on his plate, obviously.
So is it 3 or 2?
Woefully insufficient. The bottom line there is just the
many do we
captain
need
and
for-
one person budgeted.
Okay.
And
How many do
on
we need?
average, we bring out an additional, how many people per class? How many do you bring out per class from the jail to help teach?
Approximately 17.
Okay.
17 additional.
Right. So what you have now versus what you need, that's the number I'm trying to
Well,
understand.
if I may, through the chair,
Or would you like-
ideally, for me, I would want the captain to at least have a sergeant, lieutenant, and, a minimum of 4, 5 additional officers to help run the classes. And I don't know if we, come here asking for
No,
those
so,
level of
so,
positions.
I've had conversations with the
Okay.
sheriff, undersheriff and director. And so they've already looked into building in those expansions and stuff.
Right.
So what I want, so they're still working out the details, because there's some other pieces that I've asked them to consider as well. So,
Okay.
yep, so.
So,
definitely.
yeah, I was just trying to understand the numbers you're looking for in recruiting and in training so that we know that, that's what you're focused on.
Well, I don't want to get ahead of the sheriff,
Mhm.
but this is just my opinion.
I get it. I get it.
Is that, at minimum, I would like to see the captain have maybe 6 or 7 additional permanent staff.
Okay.
Now, obviously, he's still gonna have to, pull people from time to time based upon their training and expertise to teach the things that they're expert in. But, to take the load off of trying to manage classes on a rolling schedule, 2 classes simultaneously,
Okay.
that's quite a bit for him and just one person.
Okay, and then you indicated that like the city had 30 recruiters And so what are we looking for? What are you looking for?
Again, I don't want to get ahead of the sheriff. I don't know exactly what the sheriff put out there.
Okay.
But certainly, the number that we have
Which
can no
is
way compare.
Three.
three, right? Okay. Okay, so you want to significantly, I would
Sure.
assume,
Can I
increase
say
that
one more
number.
benefit to getting extra people too?
Say-
Another benefit to getting the extra staff, the
Okay.
training unit. So we have in-service training. I don't want to forget about we're talking about recruiting a lot, but our in-service people that are currently working right now are officers, 595, 368 are sworn officers, but they all get the same training. I would like to have more like one-on-one training instead of doing things virtually, like the world's going to virtual training all the time. But I would like to go back to the times of getting them training one-on-one and giving that mental break from the jails and things of that nature to get them the training, I think they deserve. And
Mhm.
I look at it like a proactive approach, and I'd like to show more initiative. And I feel like I hate to keep saying I'm overworked because I work, I do work hard, and the whole sheriff's department does. But I wish I had the initiative to do that and be there more for the officers too, that we currently haven't. I mean, I love new people. I love getting new recruits, but the people
Well,
that currently work here too are.
Well, I want to
extremely
thank
important.
you for
Yeah.
your service. And I guess you're saying continuing education
Correct.
is key to,
It's called
yeah.
in-service training.
It's very,
Is
very
there-
important. Right now, we
Yeah.
all know that CPR training can't be done online. You have to have practicum. And we're having a huge challenge right now with making sure that our people are up to date with their certification. And so here again, Captain O'Rourke and some of the commanders and deputy chiefs have put together a plan where him and his training staff are extending their shift so that they can actually come into the jails and get people up to date on their certification.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
just last
Sorry.
question, the college interns you just talked about, how many interns do you have right now?
Again, those people are under the county executive's office.
Oh,
We just hosted a tour,
oh, I
but
see.
they're assigned to the county executive's office.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Baidoon, and then we'll have Commissioner Alheidas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chief Dunlap, and gentlemen and the lady for being here, and thank you for everything that you do for Wayne County residents. You mentioned that we have 495 full-time deputies, right?
595.
Oh, 595, I'm sorry. But what was the highest number you ever had at one time, would you say, Chief Dunlap?
So before me, when I was with the Detroit Police Department, I looked and I remember just looking at some old budgets. They had roughly somewhere between 11 and 1,200 people in this
Oh.
agency
When I
total.
first started, it was 1178.
Yeah, yeah.
So realistically, that should be the number considering the number of residents we have in Wayne County
Well, and let me say,
or less.
we would say yes, but in comparison, also at that time, the Detroit Police Department was 5,000 plus people. It's just under 3,000 today. So still, in comparison, we should certainly be above where we are. I would hope that we can real soon get up to 900.
How many reserve deputies do you have
I don't have that number.
roughly?
You probably have it better
I
than
know
me,
they
Commissioner.
do a lot of work
Let me
for the
tell you,
communities.
They do an awesome job.
Really do, and
Uh,
I gotta
Bar
give it to them.
none,
Yes.
we have the absolute best reserve force in the state and probably the country. And I say that because you see them out there and you don't even know
Yeah,
that they're not the full-time everyday officers.
Yeah.
You see professional deputies when you go downtown to the different games. And if I had to guess, I would say we probably have upwards of 300 people in the reserve force. And so, but.
And that's
but-
a whole nother discussion too, as far as resources, yeah,
And training.
and training, yeah.
Which is separate,
From
okay,
this,
from
right,
what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
correct.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Commissioner Hayes?
Thank you. Thank you. appreciate anything related to public safety because the county, if it's not safe place, it's not safe to live and do business and live. And we know the comeback of Detroit now require us to enhance many services, not only the public safety. So compared to other sheriff department in different county, the bottom line is when we have a number from 1,200 now to 500, that gives me a little bit of concern. Not only to take care of the jail, the public safety department, the patrol, and I know many small community benefit out of your assistance to them in the past. So that's why it's very important for us to not to look where we at, to look where we want to be, and the future to provide the Wayne County resident the safety and the services they need. We don't want to be the training department for other departments. When we train somebody and we find different in the income and benefit and environment of work, so we become training department for other facility. And those play factor, and we might not be able to go from 500 to 1,200 where we should be, but we need to be an upswing from 500 to 520 to where we need to be as the comeback of the city of Detroit benefit the whole region. You see some improvement in some other city. I traveled through from the city of Wayne all the way through to Detroit, and I see more hotel been built, more motel. People, it's mean their movement, their mobility. And we're talking about regional transportation. Are we getting ready to see where we want to be, or we moving with the growth of the region to be able to provide the services the people expecting us to provide? What's the vision of the department? I know the sheriff is not here, but I know you have a lot of things. You address yourself, Chief Dunlap. I talked to you, well knowledgeable about the public safety issue. So that's why I like to see, is the sheriff department planning and moving forward with the growth of the region? And I hope that would continue.
So through the chair, real quickly, Commissioner, I think you've probably been in some of the cabinet meetings because you kind of already laid it out. Some of what the vision is to be able to, provide services across the county as well as the support services that we do now. Let's not forget about the Scout program and other programs that Sheriff Washington and Under Sheriff Jafer have been very innovative in, getting stood up. But to your point, as Wayne County grow, it is Sheriff Washington's vision to continue to grow this agency. And with your help, we're very, very optimistic, cautiously that we're going to be able to do that. And some of the things that is pointed in that direction is the support of the county executive's office, as well as this commission with the pay raises, of the new jail that's coming on board. I think it's going to incentivize, you hear people say, oh, they're going to leave, but, I'm already hearing feedback from officers that we're taking over there to tour that jail, like, oh my God, I'm staying. This is 100% better than what we have. And so I think that is the direction that we're going.
In the important area I'd like to hear from you is compare us to some other county with benefit in pay. Where we at in that area? Because really the bottom line, if I'm gonna be working for the sheriff and I'm making $1 per hour and somebody else offering $1.25, for long term, guess what? I know been trained in Wayne County and everything and done, but I have a family to raise, I have to look into that. Where do you compare that, the income of the officer?
Well, I can tell you this much. I don't know exactly, but I have been advised that this last pay raise that you all signed off is the largest in the history of this agency. And it really brought us more in line with what other sheriffs are paying. If we're behind them, I would say probably slightly behind them. And so the other part of retention is opportunity. And so as we grow this agency, the more opportunities that we create for fresh air jobs will also help, improve retention and incentivize recruitment. So I don't have the exact numbers, but again, enough for just what you've done lately.
Well, I want to
Improving
thank
pay.
you for you all coming here this morning and for the hard work that you do. And you've made it clear to the committee. This committee is the committee to work with the administration and recommends to the full board the budget. And, we're looking forward to, receiving those hard numbers from your department, but we, as a committee, will be expecting to see some increases in some appropriate areas that you explained to us today. Yeah.
Commissioner, to that point, I mean, I didn't want to beat this meeting up with a lot of statistical data because I'm like a numbers junkie, but just to give you an idea of what we're currently looking at with respect to those hard numbers. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You continue. I'll just see another
So,
commissioner I will not
just-
miss.
But looking back on comparison, like when I'm looking at data and I'm running an analysis of where we are versus where we were, and to your point, where we want to be. And I would be remiss if I were to tell you that I didn't want to have an agency that's staffed at 1,500 or more, obviously, but that's not where we're at. So how do we get there? Where were we? And so when I first took over the recruiting unit for the sheriff's agency, it was during COVID. The recruiting, the ability to attend job fairs, it was at a standstill. Everyone knows that struggle. So I really don't look at data with respect to 2021. It was just abysmal. It's not where we are. It's not realistic. But when I look at where we were in 2022, 2023, and where we are today, we've been significantly improving and increasing our recruiting numbers. To that point in 2023, we were 17.5% above increase, if you will, in applicants to the agency. That was from 22 to 23. And 22 to 21 to 22. 22 to 23, we went up an additional 7.5%. Now, I mentioned earlier that we made a modification to our application so that we're getting that quality over quantity, where we did realize a 6% decrease when looking at, since we started that in March 22nd, we've seen a 0.6% decrease from April, May, and June of this year compared to last year. However, though it was a 6% decrease in applicants, we actually have realized a 67% increase in applicants that actually go to the background phase. We're trending right.
Yes. So, so I appreciate that information. So what we really wanted to focus on today was really the hard bodies and numbers to assist you at getting what you need as far as personnel and dollars. Because the information you just sharing with us, Director Terry give us to us every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks at the other committee, but I know you ain't understand the
Sure.
committee structures, but we have one last question from Commissioner Martha Scott. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chief Dunlap. It has been wonderful working with you over the years.
You as well.
Yes, indeed. But now you say you have 300 reserves. What kind of training do they get?
Yeah, that's my guess, roughly 300. And so now we have a process where they go through a training academy, and Captain O'Rourke can explain more in detail than I can. if you will, briefly the curriculum that we expose them to?
They go through the Schoolcraft Police Academy. It's actually the Reserve Academy, but it's ran by the same institution that our police academy goes through. It's at Schoolcraft. They actually just had a class graduate not too long ago. They go through some strenuous training. They go through, oh, I'm sorry.
Speak in the mic.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, they go through some training. They just don't get thrown in the mix, I should say. They go through an academy, they graduate. They had a graduation, which is really nice, we went to. And I mean, that's about it.
Do they get any stipends?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
No,
So
they volunteer, they buy
Uniforms
their
are paid
own
for.
equipment, and we buy their uniforms now.
I believe. we do.
Before they bought everything, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what are they allowed to do?
So like different community events, you know, I mean, we obviously know what our challenges are in the jails and courts and roads. And say if there's a community fair that say Highland Park or Wayne or something, they might reach out to the sheriff for police support. And while we don't have the manpower to pull from the jails, courts, and roads, we can obviously send some of the reserve units out to augment the one or two officers that we might be able to provide.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for being here.
It helped a lot in case of, you know, it happened one time in the city of Wayne, when we have the explosion in Romulus. Our police department, we don't have enough officer to take care of the problem. So the Wayne County Sheriff came, take care of the road and take care of the local law enforcement business, and the police focus on the explosion. So they really there when you need them, and good thing, and the firework.
Yes.
City of Wayne get 13,000 visitors, way more than could handle the sheriff department there. So it is the support for every police department in the county.
Yes. Yes.
In my opinion, they too small for the size of the county and the population. It's my personal opinion.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for joining us this morning, and we look forward to continue the discussions. Yes, Director?
Just very quick, please, through the
Yes.
chair, before we end. I just wanted to bring to your attention that what we're doing immediately is the recruiting of looking for 4 recruiters, 4 background investigators, and 4 in the training unit. A budget adjustment was done to close 20 vacant positions to allow us to bring on project consultants, hopefully immediately. That's what we're looking to do as soon as we come out of this blackout period, where we can't hire right now. And also to increase our rate from our project consultants from $29.42 to the $35 to help us with bringing back hopefully retirees or just getting them back in the door.
Great,
Yeah,
great to hear.
very important.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for, coming to the committee and giving us an update, and we'll be looking for those, budget submittals. Thank you.
And thank you all. Thanks for listening to us, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Is the air open?
Yeah.
Wow. Next item, Madam Clerk.
We are returning to item number 1, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment 2024 35,170, reallocating expenditures in the general fund.
Okay, we're going to take all the rest of these items out at the end, one motion at the end. Any questions? Any questions? Next item,
Next item,
item 1.
Thank you.
Good.
Next item number 2, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment 2024 35,172, reallocating expenditures in the general fund.
Okay, yes?
Just had a clarifying question as to, I didn't see any details of what this,
This is, you know, the ongoing litigation and issues associated with the various lawsuits that have been filed and which the commission staff and our council has had to respond to.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the
We're on item number 2.
item number 2,
Request,
you read into the record?
I did.
Yes. Any questions? Any questions? Next item?
Item number 3, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment 2024 35,148, reallocating expenditures in a general fund.
Who's here to speak to this? And then Commissioner Anderson and Commissioner Marecki. Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Oh, you can't, you know, you can't move. Commissioner, and I'll just state your name.
Benita Terry, Director of Administration, Sheriff's Office.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a few questions about the purchase of the laptops. Do they currently have laptops right now for training anywhere in the sheriff's department?
To my understanding, we are not using laptops. Regular desktop. So we are going to the CJC. The need for the laptops will be able to afford more mobility, the officers to train there.
Okay, and have there been regular monitoring of the computers? And I would assume that the desktops that they currently have that are not going to be used any longer, correct? Are they going to be used? Or are they going to be?
I'm not actually sure how they will be repurposed, but we inventory all of our all of our items there at the sheriff's office.
And the same thing will happen with the laptops?
Most
of
definitely.
course, yeah.
They're not going home with the laptops. The laptop stays at the training unit.
Right.
But it
okay.
just offers, if we want to configure the room, it's easier to configure the room with a laptop than if you had desktop and everything is stationary.
I know the county has probably spent at least $1 million on laptops with COVID and everything that was going on when people were taking them home.
Yes.
And so that's why I asked the question.
Oh.
It's not just directed to the sheriff's department, but that's the one that popped out when or it's in our packet. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you're the next item as well. Yep.
Next item,
Yes.
item number 4, requesting commission approval of the revised.
No, you're not. I'm moving forward. Thank you.
Requesting commission approval of the revised capital improvement plan as of February 17, 2024.
Okay, who's here to speak to this?
Your mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alan Coe. I'm the Assistant Division Director of Engineering. And
My name is Christopher Nalememe, Senior Licensed Professional Engineer with Wayne County.
Okay.
and
Your mic.
okay, we have submitted a revised CIP. We have made some revision from the previous CIP. We submitted CIP, and the changes are we have about 27 projects that were completed, and we have removed them from the CIP for fiscal year 24-25. And we have about 16 projects that we have increased the funding for fiscal year 24-25. And we have about 6 projects that we have decreased the funding.
Okay.
But the total, the grand total for the fiscal 24-25 is similar to what we had before. It's about 65 million.
Okay, are there any questions? Any questions? Commissioner McCormick and then Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the report you provide is detailed, very detailed, so I appreciate that. The only question I have, and I know the way in which you analyze and configure your report is by what is that system where you check the roads? What is that?
Pacer.
Pacer, thank you. It's by the Pacer ratings and things of that nature. But I was wondering if we could have the report where you divide it into districts or just at least acknowledge where these locations are by district? Is there-
We do have a Wayne County website that shows all the construction. On that website, you can filter per district. There's a
Okay.
layer that you can just click and show you.
Okay, so I can try going to the website, but going to that website is kind of fun. And
I
trying to find information.
I
but-
can send you the link if you
Okay,
want.
if you can, if you can send me the link, then I can just
Mhm.
pull it out.
Okay.
Or either if you can, if it's in any of the reports that you sent in the past, or
Mhm.
if you can send it where it just breaks down by district, that would be helpful to me. Yep. Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson and then Commissioner Clemente.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since you folks are here, I want to use that as an opportunity to ask you about a couple of projects, and one of those being Wayne Road, Palmer to Glenwood. And I know my colleague here would be interested in when that project's going to start. I know there's supposed to be a resurfacing from within those two cross streets.
As far as I know, you guys already approved the contract and it went to MDOT, and MDOT is in the process of assigning it or award. So as soon as that thing is done, we can start the construction.
Should be this construction season though, right?
That's the schedule for that
Okay.
project.
And the other thing is, of course, the one you've never been asked about, I'm sure, is Merriman Road Bridge.
Again, that project is tentatively scheduled to be completed this year, this construction season, and hopefully there's no, unforeseen condition that will prevent that. So
I don't have to tell you how bad that's been. It has been, should have been done by the end of last year. And here we are now going into year 2 with a major road being put out of commission. It's just number one call that we get, number one in the emails and complaints.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunately, we have encountered so many unforeseen conditions during construction that we need to deal before we can continue the construction. So
it's progressing though, you're saying?
that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, you finished? Oh, thank you. I didn't hear you. Commissioner Clemente?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are updates given every week, correct? Through, if you can just, there's 2 different sets of updates that anyone can get on about engineering and roads. Maybe that would help people knowing about that they could watch there, listen to it.
That's correct. We have a weekly updates to communities. Since Wayne County is a large county, we divide the cities accordingly. We have Group A and Group B, and the dividing line is Inkster Road. We have east of Inkster and west of Inkster, and so every week we provide update to the communities. So everybody's welcome to attend those.
The Deputy County Executive, Hassan Turfy, has been encouraging commissioners to join those calls. He said valuable information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to add that it has been wonderful. They're very concise. They tell you what's going on. Doesn't take much time out of your day if you don't have a meeting going on. But I've learned a lot about projects in my area and I really appreciate being able to be on those and having my locals, telling them, encouraging them to be on them. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
And I hope it continues.
Okay, without objection, the last person will be Commissioner Anderson.
To that point, I just wanted to ask, can you, is there someone that takes notes that they can send those out to
Commissioner
the
Scott.
commissioners?
I didn't see.
You
look, you
Yeah.
You're gonna start saying.
I would assume there's someone that takes notes that they could then prepare an email or something to all the members of the commission.
We do have the slide that we provide to everyone, what was discussed and the projects, starting date, end dates, and
But is that something that you do every 2 weeks that you're talking about?
actually it's every week, but it's a
Every week.
different group. Group A will be this week, Group B will be the following week, and then there's after that is every week.
I honestly, I don't think I've ever seen that. So, and it's going to all commissioners.
Um,
Can you?
I don't know where.
No.
They've been doing these weekly meetings since.
They do, and they send us the emails letting us know about the meetings. Yep.
But the meeting or the results of the meeting?
No, of the meeting notice.
Okay, I'm talking about the results of the meeting.
Yeah, we do.
I believe they're recorded. So, that should be something that,
Staff on it?
Mhm.
Staff goes on it?
Yeah, I have my staff on it.
No. If we could get an email with what the minutes of the meeting or something like that to tell us what,
We can do that. We can
Okay.
provide you.
Thank
with
you.
I gotta go. Okay, Commissioner Scott.
Yeah, I just had my coffee hour Monday. And I had probably the largest group and they were all here for Otter Drive. Can you give me any information on Otter Drive?
that.
Not on the west side, on the east side.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, because she's raised this question a number of times. If after this meeting, if you all can wait behind and talk with her about that and also make a connection in your office so that she can be able to have a direct person to address those issues. Cause I know I've been here for 3 years. That's come up pretty often. Yeah. Me, I know I've been, so I'm just saying, yeah, okay.
Yeah, if we can get those, if we can get those concerned, then we can address them. So we can.
Do you have a plan
Hmm.
to do Otter Drive?
I have to. I have to check our schedule of projects for this year and next year, but unfortunately, I don't have that list with me. So,
Okay.
but I can provide you with information.
And thank you. Okay, any additional questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item.
We are now on item number 5, a communication from Eric Sabri, Wayne County Treasurer for the second quarter investment report for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Hello. My name is John Kravitz. I'm the investment manager in the treasurer's office.
Is your mic on? Yep.
It is. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
John Kravitz. I'm the investment manager from the treasurer's office. I just wanted to introduce our 3 interns, our summer interns. We have Katie Page from Michigan State and Trent from Tennessee State. So they're with
Welcome.
us this summer, working on special projects to keep taxpayers in their homes. So we're glad to have them, and they're our rising stars for the summer. So
Thank you.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna ask, if there are any questions of this report. He always, he or, the deputy, treasurer generally comes. This is a regular report and just want to ask, are there any questions that you might have of the report, any committee members? Okay, there being none, thank you, and we look forward to the continued growth.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for your patience, young people. This is your government at work.
Told them it would be fun.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Next item.
May we have a motion?
Oh, no,
please?
motion is in order. It's been moved by Commissioner Mirecki, supported by Commissioner Baydoun. Please vote on your devices. Okay. No, okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, These items stand approved. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I know of none. Next item.
Item G, public comments.
Okay, I'd like to open up the Zoom and the telephone lines, and I would like to ask anyone on Zoom or on the telephone who would like to address this committee to please ask to be recognized. Please ask to be recognized. And I'd like to ask, is there anyone present in the room who would like to address this committee? Anyone in the room? Public comment is closed. Next
Excuse me,
item.
Chair, I do have one email public comment.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Read the email. I'm sorry.
This public comment is from President Buffington. It reads, my comment is to the Sheriff's Department. As students, you spoke of, how did the interns have this opportunity? My nephew has failed the MCOs as well as my 18-year-old son, the practice test. How do young men attending college in the fall over 18 with a clean record become a part of the department with a class load under criminal justice students? Or if they can't overcome the state requirement MCOs test?
Okay, Madam, I'd like that question sent over to the appropriate department and for a response.
Will do.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda.
Item number H, item letter H, adjournment.
So moved.
Move, supported. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the meeting stands adjourned. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.